Shalom and welcome to the Mitzvah of Torah. This year is entitled, Can One Use a Pergola and the pergola roof as Schach? Even though it's Pesach time, Pesach is in the air. Very good shaila recently came up. Someone was building a pergola now and thinking ahead, Baruch Hashem. Can you go ahead and make a pergola not only as the base for the Schach, where the walls are going to be there, then you put the Schach on, but you're actually going to have the permanent slats nailed in, and that's your Schach. This is a very, very big sugya. Halacha l'maaseh. Everyone has to talk to their Rav about such a shaila, because in general people do not have such sukkah where the slats are nailed in. But just to go through the halachot, so a pergola, there's a lot of factors involved. One, when you go ahead and put the schach up, make sure the walls are there first, because that's ta'aseh v'lo menasur. You can't have the schach, then the walls. If there is a tefach, wide framework right below the schach, and that's there all year long, and then you put the schach on, so that's minimal definition of a wall, that would be enough for that. Then another fact you have with the pergolas, you want to renew it each year, so you want to certainly have a couple of slats that you pick up each year, or a schach that you pick up each year to renew it, so it's not yishana. But now comes a question with the schach. So most people have pergolas, they have a mascara, a framework, and then that framework is built so that it could hold the schach. But the pergola top is not the schach. That's just a framework for the schach. But let's say a person wants to say, you know what, I want to go ahead and have slats, but not slats that are loose, where maybe I'll pick up a few each year. I want to go ahead and have slats nailed in. So there is something called Gzerat Tikra. With Gzerat Tikra, the rabbi said that if you have 4 tefachim wide slats, that almost looks like a roof, and people can ask confusing, I could sit here, I guess I could sit inside my house too. That's Gzerat Tikra. And that's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch Reish Chavtet Yud Chet. And then the Shulchan Aruch, you'll see these slats are tiny, there's no comparison, they're nowhere close to 4 tefachim, 4 widths of that. So there's no problem. But the Shulchan Aruch writes, the minhag is even less than that, we don't do anymore. So some say, because those nice, finely tuned pieces of wood, you put them so close to each other, one near another, it's going to be like a roof where the water can't get through. So it's not part of the Gezerat Tikra, the original decree, but it was a chumrah the Shulchan Aruch had, and the Ramah doesn't argue, so chumrah is a chumrah, we have to follow it. Now I guess Mishnah Brewer and others say not every town followed it, and in Yerushalayim they have these small little wood slats that they use, and not everyone took upon themselves the chum of the Shulchan Aruch that we don't need any slats at all. Okay, so that gives a little bit more wiggle room. That if you're not in a town where they avoid those slats, no worse than Yerushalayim where they have small slats. Good. The only problem is this is nailed in. So some poskim say once it's nailed in, that's like a tikra. That is like a roof again, and therefore that would be part of the Gzerat Tikra, the rabbinic prohibition, and that would not be a proper sukkah. However, Rav Nachum Rabinovich in his She'as Tshuvos does write that he says that's not part of it. That the gezerah would be as if it was nailed in and each slat is right near each other, there's no room in between. That already would be a problem. He quotes the Shlomo Kluger, and that's how he learns the sugya. He says it would be fine. So you do have a massive posik Rav Rabinovich saying it's fine. He's more concerned about the coloring. Does coloring all the slats make it into a kli, and therefore would not be proper? That's something else. He says ideally it should not be colored. That's the only color, just to protect it, but not for the sake of the coloring. That's another point that he mentioned. So he does rely on this, that the slats, even if they're nailed in. Other poskim are more concerned. So as I said, each one should talk to their posting. And then when I even mentioned the Chazon Ish of Mammon, he doesn't want any metal holding up his sukkah in any way. That's a whole nother chumrah, stringency. But talking about those who don't have that stringency, the other issues that are involved. Shalom.